Hello, hi, welcome to my second video log on the blog today. Today the subject is why did I binge? Why do binges happen? I just have to say before we start, these are the reasons why I binged. I found out in my therapy and in my development and recovery why I binged, and I can only speak for myself. So this might be a whole different story for someone else, but I just talk about myself here. So I got asked a lot about why would you do that? When I said, I had a relapse and I binged and I ate all that food and then I purged, or I just made crazy cardio sessions and everything. And people would ask, why would you do that? I mean, what is the reason? What makes you go to a supermarket and buy all that food and then go home and lock your apartment and just eat everything? So I can understand that it's very hard to see for someone who doesn't know what an eating disorder is, or who is not familiar with the subject, that it's so hard to understand why would somebody do that. I mean, it's not normal, and it doesn't make you feel good. It makes you feel sick and bad in the end. So why would you do that? And on the other hand, it's very hard for someone who is struggling with an eating disorder to explain that, like, in a reasonable way, because there's no way to actually make it understandable for someone, because it's disordered, and all of the addictions are in extremes and are excessive. So you can't really explain rationally why this happened. So for me, there were two issues. There was, first of all, was the physical issue, which means my body was starving. I was anorectic for about 2 years when I was a teenager, and I didn't really eat anymore. So for these 2 years, and 2 years is, I mean, there are longer periods of time people do that, but for me it was 2 years, and 2 years of hardly any food is a lot. It's a long time for a body to survive with that little amount of food. So I was lacking nutrients big time. My body was really screaming for nutrients, for carbs and fats, and all these food sources I cut out, or these food groups I cut out of my diet for so long. And even after that, when I switched from anorexia to bulimia, I still restricted, so I had the binges and then I ate like a huge amount of food. But then the next day I went back and restricted again, because I ate all that stuff. So that is quite logical, My body was just hungry. It was just really, really, really hungry, and I could see that when I had that binge, because it was unstoppable. I went to the supermarket. The point when I decided, okay, now it's too late. I already ate so much chocolate. Now I can just go for it and eat everything. So I did that, and then it was just unstoppable. I went to the supermarket. I bought so much food, and I was even panicking. I didn't have enough. I filled my basket with everything I normally didn't allow myself to eat. So, and then I went home, and I was stuffing my face in a quick and hectic and greedy way, because it was just like, it was so hungry. My body just needed that food and everything, and all these restrictions just went off, and I was allowed to just go for it. So that's what makes it so scary, because it gets totally out of control, and you're there and nothing can stop you, and it's like not even human behavior anymore. It's like an animal, And this is scary, because you don't know yourself like that, Especially in the first few binges, it's like, Jesus, what is going on with me? This is not me, It's like autopilot. It's like an animal in me doing that. So the task here is actually to learn, and it takes a long time, and I'm still working on that, is to learn to eat balanced again, to give your body all the nutrients it needs. the starving will go away. It takes a long time, and it takes very, very much structure and patience, and you just have to go meal by meal and day by day. At least that was the case for me, to learn what is good for me, what amount of food is good for me, what can I stand, and how can I handle this new meal plan and everything, and how can I learn to listen to my body and listen to the signals and feel hunger again and feel the feeling of full and satisfying. So and then for me it was actually amazing when I realized that when I started to eat balanced, I started to incorporate carbs again in my diet. I started to incorporate fats in my diet again. And it was amazing how these cravings just really went away. And I was satisfied after a meal, and I didn't feel like, oh my God, now my meal has ended, and when is the next time I can eat? Oh my God, now I have to wait like 5 hours until I can eat the next time. So this restricting thing, and this, but on the other hand, oh, I want to eat all the time, but I can't, I mustn't. That was just, it wasn't, of course, not from one day to the other, but slowly and steadily it just got better. And your body starts to realize that you're not restricting anymore, and that you give it what it needs. So that's the physical aspect. And then, of course, there is the emotional issues. For me, that was very much that I didn't love myself at all. I was completely the other side. I didn't like myself at all. I looked in the mirror and everything was negative. I beat myself up, and I always found something I could criticize and didn't like, and I had so many self-doubts. I didn't know, am I good enough? Am I perfect enough? Like my appearance and my character and my person, am I funny? Am I nice? Do people like me and everything? So that was a huge issue in my life, and I was just very, very insecure, and it bothered me. It bothered me like all the time, and I always came into situations when this came up. And every time I was struggling with emotions, or when something happened, when I was sad, or for example when my father got seriously sick, and all these things that happened in my life, it was very hard, and I had no idea how to handle this, because I didn't really talk to anyone. I thought I just cope with myself, and I just figure out myself, and it will be okay, I'm strong, and I will be okay. But it's just not the way to go, because you have to accept help, and it's totally okay to get support from your friends and everything when you feel bad, or if you have a bad day, or emotional issues. So in order to kind of bury these feelings and just get away from them, I had to cover them with something. So the food was just my tool. It was my outlet. It was my coping mechanism to just kind of kill everything that was bothering me. I didn't want to face it. I didn't want to hear anything from my subconscious mind telling me, you should look here and see there is something you have to work on. It's your self-love, it's your self-confidence, and all that stuff. And so I never really bothered, but I still felt it. So actually the thing was that when I was binging, or when I was turning to food, it topped the original feelings. It kind of covered them up. So when I binged, the next thing I felt was guilt, or disgust about myself, or panic and fear, because I thought I will gain weight now, I will just grow and end up being a whale tomorrow, So I had to make a plan, and I had to keep myself busy to find out, what am I going to do now, because I ate all that food, and now I have to get rid of it, and now I have to... So the original feeling was totally forgotten. It wasn't important anymore. The only thing that was in the front to keep me busy was the food. and my body and losing weight and doing cardio and all that stuff. So that's what I mean. It's like a tool to cover up what is actually bothering me. So that, for me, these two issues were the main things why I binged, and these two things were for me to work on. So the task with the emotional thing, I think, is a lot more difficult, because you actually just have to find out how and what is actually going on. You really have to dig deep and go to your subconscious mind and find out what's going on, you know. And this is scary, because you have no idea what's there, what is expecting me, what will come out, you know, and how will I handle it? How will I react if I find out that, you know, I don't know. You never know what's going on there. So, and it's a long process, and it takes it needs so much patience and effort, and, you know, trying again and again and again and again, and just never stop trying, because relapses happen. This is normal. I have now been free since about 6 months, maybe even a little more, and this is very new for me, and it's amazing, it's wonderful, but it took me so long. I mean, when you look back, it's 18 years, and I just, you know, there were many times I thought, oh, now I'm recovered, you know, I didn't binge for 3 months, I'm recovered now, and it wasn't the case. I relapsed again and again and again. So it really needs a consistency, and to really go deep, and not just on the surface. You cannot just scratch the surface and then all is good. You just really have to go deep and start accepting yourself and taking care of yourself, because that's the main thing, you know. For me, today it's like, I appreciate myself. I look in the mirror and I think, you're okay. It's good. I like the way you look. You're okay. You're doing your best. You're not your best every day. Sometimes you're embarrassing. Sometimes you're lazy. You know, I mean, I'm a human being and shit happens. But it's just like in the big picture, you have to like yourself and appreciate yourself and say, okay, this is me, and I want to be me, and I don't want to be anyone else. And if you reach that point, there is no way you want to binge, because binging is painful, it's stressful, it's not glamorous, it's not nice, it's just, you know, it sucks. So if you like yourself, or if you like somebody, why would you do that to yourself? You don't want to hurt yourself because you like yourself, you know. So that's the thing. If you really start to kind of appreciate and have a self-worth and a self-respect, there is no way you want to hurt yourself like that, and you want to binge and eat until you're sick. You can go out and have a great dinner and overeat and have too many drinks and feel shit the next day and crabby and hangover and have stomach pain and a bloated belly and everything, but it was worth it because you had fun, and you were with friends, and, you know, maybe you were dancing, and, you know, so that's different. But binging in a bulimia frame it's a total different story. It's like really something desperate and destructive. So, and very negative. It's negative talking everywhere, and it's, you know. So, yeah, you don't want to do that. So start loving yourself and stop hurting yourself. But most of all, just remember, it's not about the food. The food is just a tool. It's just the coping mechanism. It's just the outlet. There is something else going on. It's maybe your body screaming for food. Maybe you don't feed it enough. Or it's something deeper. It's something down there, and your soul is sad. So try to find that out, and, you know, just be patient with yourself and forgive yourself. Okay. So, I hope this clarified a few things, and maybe it helps someone. If you have any more questions, never hesitate to contact me. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye.